Alright, hello. In today's video we are going to be looking at kind of recreating the feel of Mark Fell's album Multistability from 2010. Now, I gotta be honest, we're gonna do a kind of rip-off of it, because he, I believe, did that album in Max MSP, which if you follow me on other social medias, because I am recently putting more attention into Instagram, TikTok, and I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it, actually. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. But anyway, I'm really getting into Max MSP, so let me know if you want to see some stuff in that at any point. But anyway, Mark Fell's album, I believe, was done in Max MSP, and he's even quoted as saying, "I generally work with milliseconds, not beats per minute." So, we're not going to get really exact with this video. I personally think we really match the kind of vibe of that album pretty closely. I mean, you can hear it in the background now, so let me know what you think. Long story short, this isn't going to be like some club banger we're going to learn how to do today. It's going to be this weird, clicky, weird... Yeah, I can't say weird too much. Either way, it's going to be fun. So the main thing we're going for is kind of cool, rhythmically ambiguous clicks and bass booms and stuff like that. Anyway, I won't keep you long with this intro. However, as per usual, this video came out a week earlier on my Patreon, along with some other bits and bobs like a bunch of samples, some sample packs, Patreon exclusive videos, and if you want, you can have one-to-one help on there and all that good stuff. So, I first want to say thank you to all my Patreons. I'm pretty sure I said this in the last video, but I can't believe that there's quite a lot of you supporting me now. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm still very shocked that anyone is subscribed to it, so I'm incredibly grateful for your support. However, if you can't subscribe to my Patreon, that's absolutely fine. You clicking this video really helps out the channel, and if you can comment on it and subscribe and all that typical influencer business, it does actually really help out with the channel in general. Thanks to my Patreons, and thanks to you for watching. Let me know what you think of this album in the comments, because I haven't really seen many people talk about it, but I think it's amazing. Anyway, let's get into some rhythmical ambiguity. Alright, so as per usual, we are grabbing an operator. There it is, lovely. And now we're just going to drag our envelope to sound very plucky. Nice. Then we're going to go and create a MIDI clip, and if you press your note and then click it in the MIDI clip and press your arrow buttons, it'll just select it there for you, and we're going to make that 16th notes. So now back in operator, we're bringing down the time to velocity, all the way down. This meaning that the lower the velocity, the shorter the note, higher, longer the note. Now, we are going to turn off our volume to velocity as we don't want that to change, and we're going to select our voices to 4. Sorry, I cut that out there. We're also bringing in oscillator B for a bit of FM, but we're just going to copy oscillator A settings and bring down the volume. Also turn off our filter, we don't need it. Cool, so now our velocity is affecting our time rather than our volume. Lovely. And we are in D sharp major pentatonic. So, we are going to grab a chord device, make sure the scale aware button is turned on, and now just figure out some nice chords. I'm not doing this to an exact science, I'm just twiddling knobs and hoping for the best. Yeah, that sounds good. Now, back in our MIDI clip, we're going to go and make this a 2-bar loop. We're going to go into our MIDI transformers and select time warp. Here you have 3 points, and they can just affect the time of your MIDI clip. And as you can see, there is a quantize button, a range button, and an include note end button. We're going to leave quantize off. You can also put in the middle point, and as you can see there, it's warped to the middle notes, and we can drag them around and have that bouncing ball effect. nice. Let's make this a 2-bar loop. Drawing some more 16ths, and this one will be like a classic bouncing ball. But now, actually, I don't want the first bar to be this really warped thing. So let's redraw in our 16th notes. And let's just select 1 or 2 notes every now and then to be warped. So like these 2, and then the 2 after it do the opposite. So we have like a very small bouncing ball effect. Just to add a bit of unquantized groove and rhythmic ambiguity. And it just funks it up a bit. So let's do that over here too to transition into bar 2. And see how that sounds. Cool. Now we're going to go into our velocities and kind of just mess around, see what ones we want shorter, what ones we want longer. I'm thinking the shorter notes will have lower velocity, meaning a shorter decay time. I think that makes sense. Our quantized ones, let's just put them in the middle there. And our long notes will ring out for longer. I think that's the most logical thing to do. Again, I'm not doing this as an exact science. And then for bar 2, I want it to kind of ramp down. So those 3 we're going to do manually. And then the rest of them, we're going to highlight the notes, go into drawing mode by pressing B, and then hold Alt and drag to have that kind of linear line. That's pretty funky and rhythmically ambiguous. Yeah, that's got a groove to it. I'm happy with that. Let's also, in Oscillator C, do the volume to velocity all the way up. Just so those longer notes with the high velocity bring in a little more FM and a little more top end to the sound. I think that's sounding pretty Multistability Mark Fell 2010 album sounding. It was really well worded. Then we're going to group them and let's rename it to Chord 1. Because then we are going to, on another MIDI channel, grab a drum rack, drag in the instrument to one of the drum rack pads, and then go into our MIDI clip, select our MIDI, Command C to copy it, and then Command V to paste it into our drum rack. Then we're going to go back to our original MIDI channel and alter the chords. I want this to complement the other chord that will be playing. And I think that sounds good. I don't know why. I know not zero. I know very little music theory, so I can't tell you why they work together, but they seem to. Just editing the patch a bit as well, so we end up with this. I think they sound good together. So then we're also pushing that MIDI over by 1/16th note. So we get this kind of, not polyrhythm, I guess it's a little bit Steve Reich. I don't know. It's not really phasing. It's just a 16th note out, but I think that's quite fun. And again, we're trying to get that rhythmical ambiguity. Fab. All right. Let's grab that chord and call it chord 2, drag it into our drum rack. I was having a bit of trouble there. And copy the MIDI over into there too. Oh, I forgot to make it 2 bars, so let's drag out our loop brace. Loop brace, loop bracket. Let's try some different pannings and see how that sounds. Yeah, see, that sounds great. I think that's sounding really... I don't know, I think that really fits the vibe of this album. Anyway, we're going to bring in another operator, and let's call this Kick 1. Now, we're going to be using a fixed frequency, so let's grab a tuner so we know we're going to be in tune. What are our notes in the scale? So let's pick E sharp, which is just an F. So F and A sharp, why not? Those will be our two kick notes. So let's tune this down to, I think, A sharp. I'd really recommend headphones for this part because it's very low. And I don't know how this is going to sound on, I don't know, a phone speaker or laptop speaker at all. So if you've got headphones, chuck them on. There you go, we're in tune. Let's bring down the time to velocity, turn off the volume to velocity, and bring in a pitch envelope so you get that kind of more drum sound with the pitch sweep. Let's set it to mono. Whoa, yeah. And then just do a kind of generic kick ADSR. I'm playing with the velocities now and it's working perfectly. So let's bring that in. I want a kick to happen every 6 16th notes. So let's just do that. Yeah, that's cool. Again, rhythmical ambiguity, because that sounds like it's meant to be giving a pulse, but it's nowhere near. Now I'm just messing around with the velocities again. So they changed their ADSRs and, I don't know, trying to get a bit of funk out of it. Yeah, that sounds cool. I think so anyway. Sorry, that might have been a bit too enthusiastic. So let's duplicate that kick patch and just call this kick 2. And now we're going to tune this one to F. Yeah, that's real low. Like monstrously low. Alright, cool. Let's draw in some of those other kicks too to play off the others. Ah, they're ringing out with each other, so let's put them in a choke group. Highlight them both and select choke group 1, and if you don't know how to open up the choke groups, it's this little I/O button here. There you go. Much better. Let's solo that. Yeah, and now let's just draw in some more and get some kind of funky kicks playing off each other. And we're not really worrying where the downbeat is because you're not meant to, I guess. Let's hear that in context. Yeah, that first big kick really kind of helps you get back into wherever the one is. Alright, now time for some OTT. Obviously, not too much. Because, I don't know, surprise, surprise, OTT can be quite over the top. Alright, now let's bring in another operator and we're going to call this noise click because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a click of white noise. Grab a white noise oscillator, turn off the filter and make your envelope real clicky. Pretty simple. Now, I just want to try out some of these MIDI generators. I've barely tried them, so let's select our noise click channel and just drag some stuff around. I don't know, I haven't used these that much. I feel like I should, especially as they were a big selling point for Live 12. Yeah, sure, that's good enough. Actually, that's quite cool. Let's pan our click to the right and sort out the envelope a bit. That's much better. That is lovely. Let's get another operator. And let's call this noise rise. because it's going to be a rise of noise. So again, white noise oscillator, and let's pull our sustain all the way down, pull the attack up, and no decay. That isn't what I want at all. Let's turn off the filter though. Let's bring up the attack way more. I want it to stop dead, so no release. Cool. Let's put that at the end of the bar to kind of signify where the one is going to be. That works really well with that first big kick. I think so. I don't know. Let me know if you feel different. Lovely. All right, now we're going to do some macros. I'm going to do it for the oscillator's FM volume thing. So copy value to all siblings, but there's only 3. Or sorry, map to all siblings. Okay, yes, only working for our kicks. And that would be because our other operators are already in instrument racks. Oops. So we're going to need... Yeah, because that sounds cool. Okay, so we're going to need to map that to this instrument rack's macro. And then map that macro to the other instrument rack macro. You'll see what I mean. And we're making sure that this one's is lowest minus 41 dB as we kept it. So then we're mapping a macro to a macro. Yeah, that works. However, for our second chord, as I said, the oscillator level's minimum was minus 41, so we just put it in there. And then it should work perfectly. Yeah, as you can see on the right-hand side, even when it's at 0, it's at 41. So we always keep that original patch sound. Lovely. Nice, and now we can kind of evolve our track and the timbre of our track. Let's do it with audio effects too. So we got a grain delay with spray and all that, and an auto filter. We've mapped the dry wet for the filter and the grain delay, and the filter frequency for the filter. Just to have a bit more opportunity to evolve stuff. Now we're going back to our drum rack and grouping it. Open up and duplicate the whole drum rack. Let's call this part 1 chords, and this one part 2 chords, because we're going to be changing both operator chords. So we have a sort of A section and B section. Yeah, here we are. We're changing the chords just to have a different feel for a bit. Let's change this one too, and make sure they complement each other. That last note in chord 2 is a bit... it's not hitting it right. That's it. I don't know why it works, but it does. Okay, now that's done. Let's go into our chain and drag out both of the kind of chain boxes. Then right-click, distribute ranges equally. And now we can select between our part A chords and part B chords. Fab, but I mean, we don't want to do that ourselves every time we want to change chord. So let's go into our MIDI clip, go into envelopes, make sure we have the instrument rack chain selector on, and unlink the time, because we want each chord part to play 2 bars, so make a 4-bar loop of automation, and have the chain selector be up or down for each 2 bars, or however you want. Beautiful. Now we just need to remap our macro 1 to another macro 1. Sorry, there's a lot of fiddly macro mapping in this. Just check it works. Perfect. I think we've done it. So yeah, now I'm just making the macros look all, I don't know, nice. I don't know, those colours suck. Anyway, we're going to make another MIDI clip, and this one is just going to be really off and big bouncing ball vibes. So we're going to, you know, do the same slidey thing with time warp, drag down the velocity. Yeah, that's cool. In our envelopes, we are going to go to our instrument rack, which I've renamed Mark Fell, go back to our chain selector and do the same thing by unlinking our time, selecting the length as 4 bars, and having the first 2 bars be our first part chords, and the second 2 bars be our second part chords, if that makes sense. Let's extend the time of this. So let's grab our loop bracket and times it by 2. Yeah, that sounds good, but I would like to rework the velocities on that. So let's just drag them all the way up, and then we'll redraw the line in there. So again, B, hold, Alt, and drag. Yeah, that sounds cool. Let's open up our chance window. Let's duplicate this for chord 2. And then we're just going to bring the chance for all of them down by quite a bit. Yeah, cool. So we never know which ones are going to play. And now I'm just going to draw in some random stuff. Again, try and be a bit funky with it. Bringing in the noise as more of a pulse this time, and keeping the noise rise where it was, and bringing up the chance for that last bit of the bouncing ball. Yeah. Now, select both MIDI clips, go into your follow actions, turn it on, and I'm going to click other. No, I'm not. Any. So it might repeat, or it might repeat, or it might go to the next one. So, to be honest, at this point, I'm just listening to it and messing around with some of the macros and tweaking little bits here and there. Nothing really important though, and the project, as always, is in the description, so you can check it out for yourselves. Add in some automation lanes for the audio effects, and this is what we've got. So again, thank you very much for watching. I think more people should listen to this album. I think it's heavily underrated, and it's really cool. As per usual, this video came out a week earlier on my Patreon, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. See you in a couple of weeks for the next one. Bye.